Good evening to you fine folks out there. Um, so as you can see, I have been working a lot on a lot of different projects from our Kubernetes cluster, which I've had to migrate to a new cluster as Rancher managed, and then move from there to setting up a multi-node cluster, migrating our system from an old R810 that we had to an R740. um, there's there's been a lot going on, and I do apologize. The website was up. We got the database issues restored. I finally got that resolved. Um, but eh, there's been a lot going on. Link share has been put a bit on the back burner per se. And a lot of that's more because I'm trying to deal with the infrastructure and stuff on the back. I'm also trying to make a few different applications. I I want to balance between both free available tools and also tools that can help the enterprise and the small businesses. There's a lot of balancing going on, and a lot of different ideas going on in my mind. It's almost a never ending factory. Most of them are insane. Like, it, yeah, I don't even know, man. There's a lot of insane stuff, but there's also a lot of good stuff that I've been working to build in my off time. Now, many of you know I do work the full time job, the typical 9 to 5 per se, or 8 to 5. But then there's also the other things I've been working on in the background, from Kubernetes to Linkshare to now Kaivax. We've got a Discord, Slack kind of matrix bot coming up here soon. And then I'm also working on providing some tools like cryptography, just basic stuff, to our main website to help those out. And then at some point, yes, I will spin back up our SearchX instance. I don't know when that will be. Probably sometime soon. I really don't have an ETA. I mean, this is a one man job here. Um, One man and his caffeine addiction, which, if you guys really want to fact check this, yes, that's all real behind me. No, that's not the only thing. Um, you're welcome to fact check this. Please tell me if I'm wrong. This is about 2 to 3 weeks of my addiction. It gets the job done. That's all I'll say. It is approximately 6,356 milligrams of caffeine. And just to prove that to you, I can't even get down fully. Yeah, so I'm a Dr. Pepper fiend. There's Stolas. There's our Rain. There's a Bang over there. There's the Wired. We got some Mountain Dew. Uh, yeah, so um, ah, it's we've been hard at work over at DWX Enterprises. Um, so what I wanted to actually go over today with you guys, most of the last couple of days recently, the most recent stuff basically, um, I've been dealing with moving the cluster over, which has been a bit of a nightmare. I've noticed it moves the files over, but not the states, if that makes sense. Like I noticed API 6 got moved over, but somehow never installed because it never brought up the etcd cluster. Um, and that is one thing I've despised about API 6. I love it. It's a great ingress controller, but it is like a roll of the dice. Like I probably more lucky at a casino just to put it all in red, just to actually get etcd running. Now, why that's so hard is beyond me because it's to my understanding Kubernetes runs on etcd. It's just it refuses to come up. It fails. It can't join the other node. There's a lot of issues, and I shit you not, the only solution I've really had for it is continuously kill etcd's pod until it comes up. I don't know why. I don't know what, who, whatever. So that was the first problem we ran into. And the second problem was I completely forgot about this, and I'll show you guys this here. Oh, that's the wrong display. So Bitnami or VMware, Broadcom, whoever it is, it's to my understanding that Broadcom is the parent company that owns VMware, bought VMware now. and VMware owns the like Tanzu Bitnami brand, whatever it may be. Bitnami hosts millions of containers and images, or I should say, the proper term is they host millions of images on Docker Hub. I believe they have a few of their own repositories as well. They might have their own. But here's the bigger issue is that for whatever reason, I don't actually have a good reason that I can think of that they would do this. They have changed their location of their images. So we'll just do this. I'm going to read through this document with you guys, which is community.broadcom.com/blogs /Beltran Rueda RUEDA Bordego, which is our author here, /2025/08//prepare-for-the-Bitnami-changes-coming-soon. I'll go ahead and link this down below if you guys want to take a look at it yourself. Wow, it's a handful. So this was announced August 18th. Because I believe they got a lot of pushback on it. If this originally came out, I can't say this for certain, but if this did originally come out on August 18th and they were preparing as of September, that is a really low time to actually prepare for this. Anyways, we'll get into it. So this is the update. We'll go through that here once we're done with this. We'll just start here. What's changing? Starting August 28th, Bitnami will be archiving its OCI registry of charts and images to a new location, Bitnami Legacy, to make room for the new secure hardened images, that will eventually reside in the main Bitnami registry. Users who are currently pulling these images will need to update their pipelines, internal mirrors, and Kubernetes clusters to pull from a new location before that time. A couple of options users have: switch to Bitnami secure images or switch to the Bitnami legacy registry. To retain existing functionality and maintain continuity of systems relying on Bitnami, we recommend switching to Bitnami secure images. In addition to a less disruptive transition, BSI helps strengthen your security and compliance posture by adopting the higher quality images offered as a part of BSI. Switching to Bitnami secure images BSI. Well, some BSI images will be free. They're only for use in development testing purposes, and a commercial subscription is recommended, not required. Note that for access to the entire catalog, as well as stable tags, long-term support versions, and more. Though a BSI subscription provides customers with the entire Bitnami Debian-based image catalog, which will continue to receive updates, we recommend users upgrade and start using the hardened Photon Linux-based images instead. These are designed to be replacement images for any of the Debian images and work with the same Helm charts. The Photon images provide many other benefits not previously available to users of Debian images, including drastically reduced CVE count, 100 plus CVEs in some cases reduced to 0, VEX statements for easier triage, along with known exploitable vulnerabilities, KEV and EPSS scores, a self-service UI/API with powerful reporting and metadata capabilities, more advanced Helm charts not available on Docker Hub, such as Bitnami's distroless charts, which offer an 83% smaller attack surfaces by MB, support for customizing the images built by our secure SLSA3 software factory, images and Helm charts that are delivered to a private and secure OCI registry dedicated to each customer instead of relying on a public registry with rate limits like Docker Hub, access to over 90 VM images in OVA format, enterprise support for packaging and installation issues. So, just to start off here, I do understand that, yes, essentially securing images requires a lot of work. You need to take apart the image, you need to find out what vulnerabilities are available, what can be done, and then from there you need to take action on reducing that attack surface, basically. So I do understand that this does require quite a bit of power, manpower, I should say, and trying to reduce those attack surfaces. Um, and I have no problem necessarily with that, donations, supporting, whatever it may be. However, there are many folks out there that already do this. It's It's a tricky situation because Bitnami's provided this for a long time, and I think that's the bigger issue here. Um, there are, to my understanding, there are some repositories out there you can purchase a subscription to and get access to hardened images that are built by teams, rather than going for the default containers you might find on Docker Hub. There's It gets trickier though when it's free to paid now, which looks like this is what it's about to be. Because to my understanding here, we open this in a new window. Yeah, because can we actually use this? Okay, so it does look like there's not logins just yet. I'll pull that down there. Um, we'll get back into this. We'll read through the page. Switching to Bitnami Legacy Registry. Another option for users of Bitnami today is to switch to the historic archive registry called Bitnami Legacy. This is unsupported software that is being made available at users' own risk. Will it make plans for alternatives? Well, they make plans for alternatives, excuse me. As such, this is a temporary solution, and we do not plan to keep this registry around for long. It will quickly begin to accumulate vulnerabilities that are not patched, and a trophy as any software frozen in time does. If this is your choice, we strongly recommend copying the images you are using to your own registry. Again, this should be considered a temporary solution. While we think that there are many better options to make before the August 28th change, this is an option of last resort for those who need more time. Why is it a good time to consider upgrading your security and compliance for open source? So why do we do all the work now to change what maybe has been working and update the type of open source images you use? We get it, no one likes change, but the reality is the landscape of open source is changing all around us. For example, from 2019 to 2023, the number of malicious packages discovered has risen to more than 245,000, according to Sonatype. That's 2 times all previous years combined. The implication is that bad actors are finding increasing opportunities to exploit open source software that has been running in every major software organization around the world. Meanwhile, with the growth of AI and MCP models, open source consumption is only going to increase. So the risk profile tides are quickly rising around us, and having a better boat to be prepared for the impacts of this change is the only responsible response. In addition, the Cyber Resilience Act in the EU creates an impending obligation for many organizations doing business there to provide guarantees about the open source software that they use in their organization. It could soon be a liability to use open source that doesn't have the required documentation to prove it's been sourced from a safe place and has not been tampered with. This is why the launch of Bitnami Secure Images is so timely. BSI is making it easier than ever for organizations to responsibly prepare for what the future of open source software in our modern world looks like. As with many things, what started out simple has become increasingly complex and requires more care to navigate. Furthermore, BSI is one of the lowest TCOs in the industry, enabling more organizations than ever to afford cutting-edge supply chain security. BSI is effectively democratizing security and compliance for open source, so that doesn't require million-dollar contracts from vendors with sky-high valuations. What are competitors trying to claim about Bitnami? It is also a great time for the competition to try and steer the narrative about Bitnami. Some have claimed that Bitnami is pulling their free container images and Helm charts from public access. However, if we look a little more closely about the images Bitnami has announced, this statement is inaccurate. For one, Bitnami Helm charts continue to be an open source project, under Apache 2, freely available to the public on GitHub. Second, what is actually changing is the built OCI artifacts. Essentially, Bitnami has been the Jenkins of the internet for many years, but has become unsustainable. Operating a build pipeline and OCI registry for the general public is very expensive. Just ask those same competitors throwing shade at Bitnami, why have they never offered to make their charts or images publicly available at the same scale Bitnami has? So users can continue to freely access the Helm chart source as well as the Debian images. However, in order to sustain and support the dedicated team of engineers who maintain and build new charts and images, a subscription will be required if an organization needs the images and charts built and hosted in an OCI registry for them. And to reiterate the above again, organizations that choose this path are simultaneously upgrading their security posture and improving their OSS strategy. How do the changes on August 28th work? The changes to the Bitnami repo are slated to begin on August 28th. They will not be all at once. Over a multi-week period, the images will be cleaned up from the registry to make room for new ones. This is being done gradually to minimize the disruptions. However, we can't be precise about which image will be removed at what time due to the complexity of the 84 terabyte of 84 terabytes of OCI content that the engineering team will be dealing with. Therefore, it's best to assume starting August 28th, every image. Wow, I can't speak. Therefore, it is best to assume starting August 28th, every image used in a key business function should be addressed with an alternate registry. We're making room in the main line of Bitnami registry so you can populate it with free tier of Bitnami secure images. These hardened photon have the same names as the dubbing images, so they can't occupy the same registry. And we want new adopters of Bitnami to start dealing with the secure images going forward, as we believe this is the future of open source software on the internet. In this FAQ, you can find more information about the details of the upcoming changes. Now, if we go up to, they did provide an update because it was not August 28th that was the full sunsetting of all those images would essentially begin. Their update is, after evaluating the impact and community feedback, the Bitnami team has postponed the deletion of the Bitnami public catalog, docker.io/Bitnami, until September 29th, which was just yesterday. As of recording this, it is the 30th of September on a Tuesday at 21:06 hours. But they are trying to give users more time to adapt to the upcoming changes, which is kind of bullshit. I'll get into that here in a second. To raise awareness before the registry deletion, we will run a series of brownouts over the coming weeks. During each brownout, a set of 10 container images from docker.io/Bitnami will be temporarily unable for 24 hours. The scheduled brownouts are August 28th at 0800 UTC to August 29th at 0800 UTC, September 2nd, 0800 UTC to September 3rd, 0800 UTC, and September 17th, 0800 UTC to September 19th, 0800 UTC. The list of affected applications will be published on the day of each brownout via our usual channels. As previously announced, since August 28th, we have not published new Bitnami container images or Helm charts to Docker Hub in OCI format. The source code containers and Helm charts remain available on GitHub under the Apache 2.0 license. So, this gets a bit tricky, right? First off, 84 terabytes. It might seem relatively small in hindsight with many of what's going on these days, because I mean, what you can buy 3 or 4 hard drives and equate up to 24, 48, 48, 40, 80, 96 terabytes, I believe that is. You can essentially have the entire Bitnami repository on 4 Seagate Exos 24 terabyte drives, right? What also isn't accounted for, though, is VMware, Bitnami, whoever it is. You also have to think they probably have multiple repositories mirrored across multiple different data centers and multiple different geographical regions. So this 84 terabytes will definitely add up. And that's not saying that this is already, I mean, for all we know, it could be half that. I'm pretty sure the 84 terabytes is all the storage, not being redundantly mirrored and all that. But see, so they postponed the deletion of the Bitnami catalog. Okay. And they wanted to do the brownouts. Now, 84 terabytes in container images is quite a bit. You're probably looking at hundreds to thousands of containers. To only do 10 container images for 3 different time periods, if I'm understanding this correctly, please do correct me if I'm wrong. But that is pretty few. I mean, you're essentially equating, if we put this in American terms, you're essentially taking a few fries out of the large fry and expecting people to notice it, right? That's not really going to happen. So that on its own is pretty bullshit. It should have been maybe hundreds, thousands. Just something as a warning, or even publish new updates to those repositories, to old repositories specifically, saying, hey, please update your container, or do something to gain attention, because especially with Kubernetes and what I have in my cluster, given I'm a one-man team right now, I don't have time to keep logging into Rancher and go check out what's going on. Why is this container failing? If I know a container is failing, I'll usually postpone it. I know what's going on. I just need to take a look at it. Or I won't notice until something else is broken. I get an update in the status page, right? It becomes tricky when you have multiple redundant items. It gets complex, basically, is my point. I'll tell you guys how I actually found this out. So with our rancher setup here, I was in the middle of setting up emissary. I wanted to originally do envoy, gateway CRDs, or gateway resource definitions, because technically not a custom resource. Uh, Gateway RDs were not working necessarily. I couldn't get it to terminate necessarily the HTTP route level, and I didn't want to have to make a gateway for each little TLS termination, since I make a certificate for every single subdomain rather than making a wildcard certificate. So I opted for emissary. We stick with our typical Kubernetes ingress, used as a controller. But as you can see here, our main site, I've moved it over to Ghost CMS, which has been absolutely phenomenal, by the way. Ghost right out of the box, I think we got like a 98 out of 100 speed and SEO score. Compared to WordPress, gets like 70 to 80 out of the box. I know there's been some updates to WordPress, so I will give WordPress credit to that. I have not tested that. But Ghost was just a whole lot better for us. Not only that, but WordPress has been having so many vulnerabilities and everything. I don't want to have to install 10 different plugins and pay for all these themes just to maybe have a not so secure like CMS, right? So I love WordPress. I love the plugins and I love the collaboration and everything you can do. The little bit of clashing, was it last year or the year before, is pretty funny. Um, but regardless, I moved over to Ghost. Ghost has been what we've been using for our main site, dwxenterprise.net. Catching up to speed here. Our first problem is if we go into this pod, you can see it's not even able to pull the image anymore. Kubernetes has been backed off and it's not able to pull it. And that is our Docker IO /Bitnami repository we're pulling from. Now, if we go into apps, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this was a part of our backup and restore. Ghost was installed from a Helm chart. This Helm chart is empty because we did not configure that repository. I'll probably have to mirror all this out, or block it out. But this chart in specific, where is it? Yeah, image. Out of the factory, out of the box, it's already referring to Docker IO Bitnami Ghost. So that becomes an even bigger problem. All these people now have to update their Helm charts. And that's hoping that, other people have gotten this update. Because I didn't even realize that this was going to happen until literally today. I started getting image pull errors, and I was wondering what the hell was going on. I thought it was literally just an etcd issue at first, because that was the issues we were having with API 6, like I said. API 6 has so many problems with etcd for some reason, and maybe it's just an etcd thing. I don't know. But I said, screw it. We need to get away from API 6 anyways. It seems too cumbersome. I want something that's cut, dry, works. If we have a few issues, that's fine. I don't want to have to keep killing the pod over and over again just to maybe make it work, right? So that's where we really saw issues, as I started realizing we have multiple pods here that are failing, essentially. So this is a little asinine. So the cutoff date already was a little insane. I'm going to go off of this because I don't see anything else that tells me. Yeah, so it's most likely created. They announced this on August 18th, 2025, and to expect people by the end of that month to already have everything updated is absolutely insane. Not only that, but what, month and a half maybe is when this was finished up, because it just happened yesterday. Now there are going to be so many automations and everything that are broken. Sure, it's a few lines of code, but think about how many lines have been propagated. You have to switch entire repositories where most people are probably relying on the Docker IO repository. Now, well, Docker IO may be very limited in how many pulls you can do, and that is something I have worried about with Kubernetes, because you're no longer pulling just a few containers for a swarm. Kubernetes, by default, at least in Rancher, it always pulls the image, right? So that becomes even bigger load when you propagate that across hundreds to thousands of users. There are some limitations. I want to say it's only a few hundred. I think it's like 750 or something you can pull per day, which may not seem by a lot. You better just hope you don't have a very large cluster. or you can share IP addresses or however that works. But yeah, so it gets pretty dicey real quick. Now, what I really don't appreciate, and maybe I'm not understanding this, is this whole thing of, well, you can use our new portal that's more secure, yada yada. Excuse me. There's a lot of folks out there who have already provided a lot more secure images and containers. So, I mean, I guess it's one of those cases where you could just use them instead. I know there's a few different providers out there that do it. And it's to my understanding, I'm pretty sure too, Linux Server IO, one of the more famous image builders, they've done it pretty well too for things like Plex, Jellyfin, Radar, Sonar, things like that. I know you can probably harden it even more, but there gets to be a point where you're not just hardening the container, but you're also removing user features, right? So yeah, there's a lot to it. Now let's pull down and take a look at our Bitnami library, the new one. One looks like it's free for the most part. This is a little weird. Available as a preview at no cost. So this is the latest Postgres. Yeah, because Postgres are 18, it looks like. Okay, those are the tags. But, okay. Let's take a quick look at this. What we're going to do, hold on, where am I? I'm already, okay, there we go. I was just an idiot. Let me pull, let's go find our ghost container. Okay, that was not it. Where would we, okay, so let's go to the FAQ. We're going to do this all live. I have yet to even actually move any of this over, so I'm just going to do this with you guys. I'll probably cut out some of the dead space so you don't see me, being an idiot here. More secure images, yada yada. A focus set of more hardened, more secure images. And those are available at the Docker Hub. Disable image generation to a Bitnami legacy repository, which, okay. So it looks like most of these will be moved over to the Bitnami legacy on Docker IO. But why not just keep it as Bitnami? Why do you have to change it to Bitnami legacy? The legacy catalog will receive no further updates or support. So that's the other thing. If you're not even going to update it anymore, you're literally just breaking things by renaming them and then telling people, oh, wait, this is also not even going to be updated. So that's an even bigger issue here. Why even move it in the first place? Exception, images based on distros deprecated from the catalog more than 3 years ago, not be copied. Okay. You can resolve this by okay. Suppose your deployed Helm chart is failing to pull images from Docker IO/Bitnami. In that case, you can resolve this by subscribing to Bitnami secure images. No, I don't want to subscribe. I shouldn't have to subscribe. Ensuring that the Helm charts receive continued support and security updates. As a temporary workaround, you can upgrade to the same version for the legacy repository. Okay. So I fucking hate Broadcom. I knew they were gonna fucking do this too when I realized they bought VMware One. I know they trashed the hell out of vSphere from what I hear, mostly with the pricing. However, okay, so where's your Bitnami secure images? Bitnami.com. Okay, we try now. That was the exact catalog we were in. So here's the library. Ooh, you can download virtual machine. They don't even have. Okay, it's probably not in the Bitnami repository. I'm not surprised. We don't care about the images or anything. Sorry, my camera is like right in the way. This is not helping. Uh, they have 428 applications. So Postgres, okay, cool. Apache and NIF, I have no idea how to even. Oh, I'm not going to. Okay. Let's find Ghost. Ghost is our CMS we used before. There's TensorFlow, there's Argo, there's Ray, ScaliaDB, Parse Dashboard, Node.js, cool. Nginx Ingress Controller, Node.js, Cassandra, AppSmith. Oh, there's GitLab Runner. Oh, wait. That's right. Okay, we can run InfluxDB now that I have Kubernetes on the R740. That's right. Sorry, I'm thinking about this as I go. uh, so hold on. If they sunsetted it 29th of September, let me see. Where is... Let's do this. Will it tell us how many? Because 269. So what if we do... Is Ghost even available anymore? Okay, yeah. So here's Bitnami Ghost. They pulled everything. Cool. Can I migrate? Can I just find Ghost for the love of God? And all that is holy. Okay. I don't see it here. 3 out of 5. I suspect it's not here. Yep, I don't see anything from a quick glance. Control F didn't help. 4 out of 5, please. I see Envoy in there. Yeah, there it is. There is nothing. Okay. How do we... I'm trying not to be an idiot here. I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. So... do we just pull then from the Bitnami Secure repository and Docker Hub? Which I thought you guys were migrating away from. So... oh my god. I cannot explain how fucking pissed I am. I'm going through this. I keep repeating myself. Was Ghost chosen just because fuck me? It was an absolute nightmare for Broadcom to have bought VMware. Oh my god. Okay, so um the only thing I've taken away from this is Broadcom, 1, fuck you. 2, fuck you again. 3, if you're using legacy images, get fucked. 4, if you want our secure images, wait, get fucked. Like the migration's not even done correctly. It looks like. I mean, please, I want to be wrong. I want my container back. I don't know how you do this so piss poorly. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. you shut down other repositories when you don't even have to, by the way. Keep that in mind. You have deprecated your repositories and moved them to a legacy. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. Is it in the legacy repository? I think we already searched this, but I'm trying to make sure. Ghost. Okay. This one's no longer updated. Cool. Users are encouraged to adopt Bitnami secure images. So we have the single container here, which is great. What is this? Oh, wow. I needed to update Ghost a while ago. Shit. Um, I'm glad it's on the legacy repository. This changes absolutely nothing to move it because you're not going to update it anyways. And in a month and a half, you expect over thousands to hundreds of thousands of Helm charts, Docker containers, setups, all that to change. Not to mention all the documentation that's out there. I mean, sure, documentation is going to be deprecated one way or another, right? But oh my god, I have no words. Like, this is the worst, one of the worst moves from Broadcom. Like, I don't know how you can get much more piss poor than this. Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, tally ho. I I don't know. I'll I'll have to figure this out on top of setting up a new ingress. So thanks guys for watching. I'm gonna go scream at a wall. Now, before we close out of the video today, I'd just like to say that by Broadcom doing this, it's taught me a lot about B2B sales.